Galatians 2:14. But when I saw that their conduct was not in step with the truth of the gospel, I said to Cephas before them all, Cephas, I keep going back and forth between those pronunciations, if you, though a Jew, live like a Gentile and not like a Jew, how can you force the Gentiles to live like Jews? So let's read some of my comments. What does Paul say to Peter? Look at this sharp, stinging rebuke. If you, though a Jew, that is a Jew by birth and not a convert, right? If you, though a Jew, live like a Gentile and not like a Jew, and then he continues later on. And so let's read my commentary. Top of page 95. In what way is Sha'ul accusing Peter of living like a Gentile, right? This phrase, you live like a Gentile, not like a Jew. Well, here's the way I see it. From the inner circle perspective of those who apply Torah to their lives on a daily basis, to live like a Gentile would mean to invite non-Jews into close quarters where table fellowship is likely to take place. So, to be sure, as I continue my commentary, verse 11 and 12 of this chapter show that Peter was in fact eating with Gentile believers prior to the arrival of the, quote, men from James, end quote, right? The men in black, the men from James, right? These Orthodox Jews, if you can kind of picture that in your mind. These really strict Jewish men who towed the Jewish-only party line that Jews should only kind of schmooze or mingle with Jews, and especially have table fellowship only with Jews. From a sectarian point of view, like the one obviously held to by those in opposition to Gentile inclusion, right? Those men from James would be included in this description. To eat with Gentiles was simply taboo. It was not against the law, but it was taboo. It was not acceptable if one wished to toe the Jewish party line accurately. Paul's phrase, to live like a Gentile, when Paul says this to Peter, it most certainly does not, in my understanding, it does not mean that Peter ate food that was clearly proscribed, that is clearly prohibited by the Torah. Right? Recall Peter's confession to God in Acts chapter 10, verse 14. If that's Peter's position, then why do we have to assume, like the traditional Christian commentaries do, that Peter was actually eating non-kosher food with these Gentiles? The text doesn't say that he was eating non-kosher foods. So I think that's a mistake to read that into this particular passage. So to live like a Gentile, I don't think it means that Peter was adopting non-kosher food standards at this point in time. For a Jew, I go on to say, for a Jew to be labeled by another Jew as, quote, living like a Gentile, was simply to accuse him of having close relations with Gentiles. This particular sentence right in the middle of my paragraph here, this is kind of the key to understanding this particular exchange between Peter and Paul. Because Sha'ul stressed the equality of Jewish and Gentile covenant membership via Messiah Yeshua, right? Listen up. Paul stressed, in fact, this is a central theme in Paul's letters, the equality of Jewish and Gentile covenant membership via Messiah Yeshua. Because this is one of Paul's central pillars of his theology, it is not a peripheral issue, people. It is a central part of Paul's theology. Because of this, for Peter to waffle in his relations with Gentile believers simply because they were Gentiles was to live as a good Jew should. Only from the perspective of the prevailing Jewish thinking of his day.